Well, man, it's great to catch up with you. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm in the belly button of America, so the Jazz Cradle. I'm looking forward to getting into Thankful, your solo debut, and your life and music. So thank you for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So let's begin our journey with this. 6 years ago, this pandemic was changing everything, all of us. How did you get through that coronavirus era as a musician? And how has it influenced the way that you create and roll today?
Great question. I actually, this album was kind of an outgrowth of that time. I've been, as any musician probably would do, or somebody who writes, I came up with, over the years, you come up with a musical idea, right? And you record it. It's not always a fully formed song, but it's an idea that you come up with. So when I had the time, there's so much time, right? When the coronavirus, that I went through my last three phones finally and said, okay, I have all these, voice memos of little bits of songs that ideas that I had. And, it's the kind of thing where you say, oh, I'm going to go through them someday. Well, it was
Yeah.
that was the day, right? Because there was plenty of time. So I went through, it's about 300 or something, little snippets of things, and started going through them and seeing what there was in there. And there was a bunch of ones that I kind of liked, and I started getting an idea together, kind of saying, well, this song could work, as a full, like, put this one with this other one, and put them together. This would be a good B section for that song or whatever. And then I basically had a whole collection of songs. And some of the songs on the album are also, older compositions that I have. But a bunch of them were brand new, and that's where they came from. Basically, was from that time where I got to go through my catalog of little recordings that I had made and put them together into full songs. So then I learned how to use Pro Tools, which is the recording software,
Yeah.
which is another thing that I had said I always wanted to do, and I never did. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I got a new laptop, and then I learned how to use Pro Tools and got a digital interface, so you can plug instruments straight into the computer and learn how to do it. And that was it. And then I just started recording.
Right on. So talk to me a little bit about what you're hoping the listener gets from this album. It's your debut solo. It's a big deal. Anytime you put a debut out, it's a real big shout out. What are you hoping they get from this?
Well, I think, my ultimate hope is just that people will enjoy the music. When I was putting it together, I definitely had in my mind to make it something that was something that was enjoyable to listen to. That was something that I would want to listen to if I was putting it on. I listen to a lot of different kinds of music and a lot of different styles and stuff like that. And some of the stuff I listen to I listen to progressive rock and stuff that, there's a lot of notes and a lot of, or even a lot of jazz that I listen to. Sometimes it's real, it can be abrasive. And I wanted to make something that was kind of not like that. I want to make something that was easy to listen to, that you could put it on and you could pay attention to it, and it would be like a satisfying listen, to pay attention to it, and oh, here's that, here's this, but also that you could just put it on and have it be kind of part of your life, and in the background, kind of, so that was my kind of intention as I was recording it. I can play real fast, but I didn't want to do that for the record. I didn't want to have a bunch of kind of showy guitar record. I like those. I like to listen to them, but it wasn't what I wanted to make. I wanted to make something that people would want to put on and listen to.
I love that psychological alter ego of the musician that does that. What you listen to is going to be a stark contrast to what you're going to produce. I hear that a lot. There's different methodologies, and I find that to be a very interesting psychology of approaching it. You know, um, yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. Um, so let me ask you this. How did this journey into music begin for you? Take me back to your beginnings. What hooked you in and evolved into this career that you have in music?
I mean, I guess music has always been a part of my life since I was a little kid. My mom played guitar. My mom was in like, it was a folk musician. You know, not professional, but she played like in Greenwich Village in New York when she was, you know, a teenager, or and when folk music was happening, at that point. So when we grew up, my brother and sister and I, my mom was always playing guitar and singing around the house. We had a lot of Bob Dylan records. She liked Joan Baez too. Um, and so there was, and then my older brother and sister were both really into music too. So for as long as I can remember, I was always, singing or trying to play something. And then when I was 12, my older brother took me to see the Grateful Dead. And when I saw that, and I was there, I was like, I want to do that. That was definitely, that kind of was, I had seen other concerts before that. I had actually seen Kiss when I was like 7. Um, and I was like, yo, wow, that's amazing, right? But when I saw the Dead, it seemed like it was something that I could do, like I wanted to learn. That made me just want to learn how to play guitar.
Wow.
And so then my mom taught me my first chords on her guitar. I learned "Blowing in the Wind" and "Mr. Tambourine Man," 2 Bob Dylan songs. Right?
Yeah.
They're like 3 chord songs.
Yeah.
So that was how I started on the instrument. And she always tells the story that like within 2 days I was playing better than she could. Or, as your mom, she's gonna say stuff
Yeah.
like that. But but I'd like to think that I progressed pretty quickly because I was really into it, and my ear was good, thank God, from I guess from that I inherited it from her. And my dad was actually real into music as well. He used to listen to Motown a lot and stuff like that, and so uh, so that was it. So then I got the guitar, and then I started taking lessons at a local store, Madawan Music, with this great guy named Tom, and I would bring him songs to learn. I'd give him these. It's funny because I would give him these like really difficult like Bob Weir songs that, and Bobby is an amazing songwriter, but his guitar songs are some of them are really difficult, like really difficult because he was very like an idiosyncratic writer, and so I'd bring him like the song "Sage in Spirit," which is this like really complicated instrumental song from the Blues for Allah Grateful Dead record, or this song "Lost Sailor." These songs are hard. These songs are hard for me now even to play, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a kid, I'm 13 or whatever, 14 at this point maybe, and and it's just funny that Bob Weir was part of my, because he just passed away,
Yeah.
obviously, but
Yeah. Yeah.
he was part of that kind of journey into learning because these songs were really hard, and then the teacher would teach them to me, and I'd practice them, and that made me better. So that's that part, and then I had a band in high school, a couple different bands, and we'd play. One played Grateful Dead, and then one played like all original songs of mine that were more like alternative kind of stuff. I guess kind of like the Cure maybe, and the Smiths and the Susie and the Banshees, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
New wave, I guess, or alternative. And so then we recorded an album. I don't know, I was 16 or whatever, and did that. But that gave me like my first kind of studio experience
Yeah.
of actually recording. Then when I went to college, I went to a school called Oberlin College, which it has a music school, has a conservatory, and a regular college. So I studied at both. I was a neuroscience major, but I had a minor in African American studies with a concentration in jazz studies. So I took great like jazz history classes there, and I took some guitar there too, and ethnomusicology, kind of stuff. And so I was kind of doing both. And I guess then I actually went straight to medical school because I was doing, neuroscience. I thought I could do psychiatry. Then I left because I hated it and wanted to have a band, form a band. Played in New York City and New Jersey, where I was living for a couple years, and it was great. Got to play with like a bunch of my heroes, and it was amazing. Then I decided I was going to go back to grad school because I wanted to have a family, and I didn't think that having being a musician was conducive to a life with a wife and kids, and so I went to graduate school here in Bethlehem at Lehigh University, and I was doing a PhD program there in neuroscience, neurophysiology, neuroanatomy, and I had my head in the books for about 5 years. I didn't even know that there was a music scene here where I lived. And then I had a professor of mine said, "Oh, you should go check out this open mic," because she knew I had played previously, and that I was into music, even though I wasn't playing. She said, "Go check out this open mic. This place called the Wildflower Cafe in Bethlehem." And then I went, and that was it. I was back. I was back. When I tried to, what's that, the Godfather thing, right? Like I tried to get out and they pulled me back
Put
in.
me back in.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
In that, I started meeting these great musicians, incredible musicians that I didn't even know that there was this very rich music scene in the Lehigh Valley where I was living. I had just had no idea. So then I started meeting other musicians and playing and finding venues around here to play. And that was it. That was it. I was done, even my advisor at Lehigh, she was like, "Go do what you want to do," and so that's what I did. And that was, yeah, it was about 19 years ago now. So then or 20 years. So that's it. So I left and I ended up, meeting my wife, and us having a son, and she was a fan of the band. That's how we met. She was a fan of my band and used to come see us play. So I ended up getting a wife and kid, and we have a son named Miles who's 9 now, and married 15 years. So, it's a blessing. And it turned out that they're not incompatible. That you can be a musician, and have a life and have a family life as well.
I have one son. His name's Miles as well.
Oh,
So
no kidding!
I'm in the Miles Club, man. Yeah.
That's great. How old is he?
He's 20. 21.
Nice.
He's 21 now. Man, time flies. Yeah. He just turned 21. So it's awesome. And sometimes people are like, how do you spell it? It's like, it's not Standish. It's Miles Davis. It's the trumpeter.
Is that who you named him after?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
knew. I mean, I had my son's name picked out, 20 years before I actually had my son.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was pretty much like, that's what he's going to be named. That's
That's
it.
it. That's the name. I
That's
love
so
it.
funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. And he was is your son a musician?
No, no, but he loves jazz. He's on the spectrum. So, yeah, he's always loved music and he listens to jazz all the time. And, whenever he's with his mom for a while and he comes back to me, he's like, after I put on, because I always listen to discs in the car, he's just like, just that
Sure, sure.
warm glow of jazz gets into his bones and he loves it. So it's good. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome that, I mean, I could have gone the other way, right? He could have grown up and been like, I hate jazz, because
Yeah.
he was exposed to it, a lot.
Yeah. But he digs it. Yeah. Music and all of that. He loves it. So loud colors and all that. It's good. I saw the Grateful Dead in 95. I went to Seattle to see some friends and I didn't quite know what I was going to do. That was in the grunge thing and all of that. But the Dead were there and I remember going to see it and it was amazing at that time. I'd never seen all of the horses, the cops on horses. Everybody was dancing. It was a total trip. And that was about 3 months before Jerry passed. So that was kind of without them knowing that was a level of their swan song. But man, that was one of my most poignant concert experiences in my whole life.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was like I'd never seen anything like that on that level. Like I think it was at the University of Washington. It was in one of their stadiums, but just the whole buildup and the community and everybody that was following him. And I was with the guy that had seen him before. So we went to a martini bar and we were a little liquored up. So he just pulled me and we were like 3 rows back. So I just got to see all of it right there in front of my face. And it was like, I'd never seen anything like that. You know, I don't know that I'd ever seen that level of legend jam band kind of thing going on where a band would hold on to a song for 15 minutes. It was new. And the whole thing, it was like, it was more of a visceral experience that washed over me in a way that I had never seen. Because my first concert as a kid was Motley Crue, Theater of Pain. Like I
Okay.
came from rock and roll, you know? So going in and seeing different levels of that was really a trip. So it was good. It was good. Um, so I'm curious, when you decided that you were going to be a musician, anytime you decide to do that, you have this dream of what your career is going to be like, what it's going to be like to wake up every day as a professional musician. What's been the difference between what you thought being a musician was going to be all about and what it's actually been living the life?
That's a great question. Um, well, I guess I thought that it would be more crazy than it is. I kind of, you see the concert and and all the action or whatever, and you kind of think it's like that all the time, and it's just not, man. It's
Right.
just not. It's the same. It's the same thing. You put your pants, one leg at a time, right? And part of it, I think so I learned a lot about doing music live, like touring. It's, because you think that's kind of an intrinsic part of it is touring. And I toured for many years with a Talking Heads tribute band called Start Making Sense, which I formed with a lead singer. And they're still around. They're still killing it, and I still play with them sometimes. That was formed 15 years ago, and they tour all over the country, and they're going to Australia, and and I've done so for about 10 years. I toured with them, and we would go pretty much like every weekend would be out, going up to Maine, going down to Florida, going to Chicago, we're driving all over the place. And it's a lot of hurry up and wait, right? There's a lot of downtime. The 2.5 hours that you're on stage, of course, is amazing, but there's just so much, sitting in the car and then getting to the venue and then waiting and waiting for people to get sound checked, and then you sound check and then you're still waiting, and there's a lot of it was just more downtime than I imagined. That I figured it was going to be just excitement all the time, and it's not. There's the part when you're playing, which is amazing, and then there's the rest of it, which um, it's work. It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
and I think most people don't kind of realize that. And that's just that's even now, there's still, there's I teach music as well, and that is I love teaching. I love mm, working with students and having them kind of get stuff. And I've taught for a long time. I've taught for 25 years or something, and I don't think that was anything that I had pictured that I was going to do as a musician. Um, but financially it's very stable. It's a great thing, and I've worked at a bunch of different schools, where I live, and I think that's maybe something that I didn't picture, because if I had pictured it when I was at Oberlin, I would have taken courses in teaching music, but I think I didn't really think of that as that was going to be part of it. So that is a good example of something that is different, being a musician, than what I pictured. Does that answer
Absolutely.
it?
Yeah, 100%. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you: family, friends, fans, students, colleagues, everyone on the bandstand, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are? That's again the Godfather line. Who do you think you are?
It's great. Um, you mean in terms of just that, right? In terms of how everybody sees me versus how
Yeah.
people see me?
Yeah, everybody, you have a role in everybody's life, but ultimately you're the id, ego, and superego combined into one. Who do you think you are?
I mean, I'm, just a guy trying to get along, right? I'm concerned with raising a family, being a good dad, being a good husband, and then being a good musician. Um, I practice, I write, I promote my stuff, I work with the guys in my bands and try to make sure everybody's happy and everybody enjoys what they're doing. Um, there's a lot of, and there's all the promotional stuff that I end up having to do. It's kind of the way that the industry is now, at least on my level. So that's part of it too. That's one of the things I do. But I'm just a regular person trying to get along in this, in a very chaotic industry. The music industry is kind of beat, right? It's not, it's very difficult and it's very haphazard, right? There's a lot of kind of chance involved. It's not like, oh, you do this and you'll definitely get this. It's not like that at all,
Right. Yeah.
Um, so there's that. So I'm just a guy trying to get to support my family and do stuff that people like to listen to. You know, I
Yeah.
think that probably says it.
I dig it. So speaking of listening to, Thankful is the new album. If anybody wants to get a copy, they want to catch you live, anything else going on in your world, where's the best place to go?
The best place to go probably we're good. The best place to go is jonfadem.com,
Okay.
which is JONFADEM. F as in Frank. It's like fade, it's the word fade and an M at the end. JohnFadem.com's got all of my shows listed. It's got links to get to the music. Thank God, I'm signed to a record label, which is called Flatiron Recordings. Um, it's a great label. They have Tony Levin from King Crimson. His most recent album came on, and Peter Gabriel, his most recent album was on that label. I'm just gonna plug this thing in here. And then Peter Criss from Kiss, actually his album just came out on that label too.
Right on.
It's a great label, and they're really good people. So they put out the album just recently, so you can go to any place. They have it. It's on Amazon. You can buy it. It's on Bandcamp. You can download a high resolution audio version of it. You can also buy the vinyl or the CD. So Bandcamp's good, Amazon's good. Um, for digital, they have it on the iTunes store. It's on Spotify if you'd rather stream it. Um, so it's all over the place. And but my website's good for where to go see me for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
So King Crimson, I remember back in the 90s, I went to Lollapalooza in Kansas City, and it was right after Lenny cut his hair. Lenny Kravitz was the headliner. And there was a bunch of people that were there. Well, King Crimson was one of the opening acts. And we had no idea. Fripp and all those cats, we had no idea. We were young. I wasn't into jazz then or progressive, that realm. And man, there was a dude there that was all over us. What the hell's the matter with you kids these days? This is the band. These are the guys. If you really want to understand music, you need to go back and I will never forget that about King Crimson. That dude, like it's clear as day, just tongue lashed us. Like, what's the matter? Who cares if this guy cut his hair? This is the band. When this band's done, I'm leaving. I don't care about Kravitz. I don't care anyway. It was wild, and I did. I got into it and understood what he was talking about. But King Crimson's just one of those things that they weren't wildly popular. But if you want to study kind of the history and the anthology of music and understand where things came from, it's kind of like Steely Dan. It's like there's so much that went into that, but they're not like wildly popular. They're kind of a niche. So yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, both. So two of my favorite bands, right? King Crimson and Steely Dan, for
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
for sure. I saw Crimson on that same tour. It was the Horde tour.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
not
And Lenny
Palooza.
Kravitz was on it,
Yeah.
and Neil Young and Crazy Horse actually did one of the shows that I saw as well. But it was
Okay.
Crimson too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was Crimson and Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, yeah. That was an awesome show.
yeah,
I still listen to them all the time.
yeah.
Like literally, I just got two brand new King Crimson reissues that just came out like
I
two
love it.
weeks ago.
That's
For
awesome.
Wake Up Poseidon and Island, they came out with brand new stereo surround sound, not stereo, brand new surround sound remixes and stereo. But I have a great surround sound setup at home, so you hear this album that I've known forever, but different. It's a different mix coming from all around you. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's it. That's the way to do it. Well, John, man, this has been absolutely wonderful. Good luck on the release. Best of luck in this new year. Thank you so much. It's great to meet you, man.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you too, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. And before you...
Neon Jazz.